Hello, and welcome to another episode of Film Freaks with a Z, the podcast all about movies. Each episode is about a single movie, and of course we'll introduce this episode's movie in a little bit. But first, I'd like to invite you, yes you, the listener, to take part in our fan vote, which happens during Tay's episode, which is next episode. And if you want to get your movie recommendation in for that next vote, just go ahead and send us an email at ff.filmfreaks@gmail.com, or comment on the latest episode of Film Freaks with a Z, or just by simply talking in the Discord section on my Discord in the movie review section. And of course, before we introduce the movie, let's introduce ourselves. I am Yemmy the Ferret, and who am I here with?
Radio Waffle.
Animation.
And yes, the silence is not on purpose. Coco is not able to join us this week, so it's just the Three Musketeers.
Absolutely.
Is this the first episode where it's just three people? Because usually when it's just the three, there's only three people. We always have like a guest person.
No, remember, Greedy wasn't here for the
plenty of times.
One. And...
Oh, okay, all right, yeah, I can't remember for sure.
But Coco did give us some thoughts on the movie, so we'll read those at the end when we all do our final thoughts and review, of course. But, Greedy, why don't you go ahead and introduce your movie here?
Alright, so as you recall from last time, I chose Get Out. It's a horror thriller movie. It's directed by Jordan Peele, however you want to say. Peele. So a little, some actors in the movie: Daniel Kaluuya. Sorry, I'm gonna mispronounce all these names. So sorry. Allison Williams, Bradley Whitford, Keith Stanfield, Caleb Laundrie Jones, Kathleen Keener, and that's pretty much the main characters. So a little synopsis. Now that Chris and his girlfriend Rose have reached the meet the parents milestone of dating, she invites him over for a getaway upstate with her parents, Missy and Dean. At first, Chris reads the family's over-accommodating behavior as nervous attempts to deal with their daughter's interracial relationship. But as the weekend progresses, a series of increasingly disturbing discoveries leads him to a truth that he could never, ever have imagined. So, I want to start this conversation off. What's the creep level? Like, watching this movie, like, just from, like, a POV, kind of like from you guys, like, were you guys, like, creeped out throughout the movie? Like, were you guys nervous? Like, tell me, like, talk to me about it. Like, what do you guys think?
It was definitely like a growing nervousness as it went on, because things started to kind of, come together towards the end. The big thing for me is, obviously I've seen the movie before. You've seen the movie before. I don't know about Tay.
Yeah.
But
I had not.
Kind of knowing where the movie goes, I kind of spotted things that I was like, oh, that makes sense as to why that happened, or there's something in the background happening here that actually has significance to it here. So my nervousness level and like my scared level was pretty low. But I will say that there are a few unnecessary jump scares in here, just with like the music getting really loud for a second.
Absolutely.
Or
yeah.
I just felt like those were in bad taste, because the rest of the movie is actually pretty good. It's a really good thriller for sure. And then they have like these random jump scares that's like, it's not even like something loud is happening on screen, it's just a musical track. And I hate, like, I don't mind jump scares, but I hate those ones where it's like, it's uncalled for. And I feel like if you take those out, then you have like the perfect thriller movie almost,
Yeah, because like there was the deer like hitting the car.
Yeah, that's what I'd bring up.
And then there was that time when like just what's her name, Georgina, like the maid chick, like just walks across the hallway in the background, and looks like, okay, we didn't need. Why is that? But answer your question. My like, what'd you say? Nervousness or whatever. Like,
just like suspense,
Suspense,
especially coming from you for the first time seeing it.
Yeah, it was my first time seeing it. I wasn't like too, like, I don't know. I didn't find it too suspenseful, just because one, like, I just kept, like, there was times I was just like, oh, yeah, I could see that happening. Sorry, dude. This is unfortunately the world you live in. But also just because, um, like, I don't know, like, I don't know if it's just because I've seen, like, enough trailers and, like, clips and stuff to kind of know where this was going, or just a lot of it, like, was kind of predictable. Like, I'd say 90% of the movie, like, I kind of saw coming. Luckily, there was that, like, weird 10% twist stuff that I was just like, oh, okay, I didn't see that coming. But overall, it's just like, well, I know where this is going. I know where
Yeah.
this is going.
I don't know about Yemmy, but we saw this in theaters together back in 2017 when it came out, and we were like, "Oh, this is the best movie. It's a good movie." And now watching it the second time, I don't know. I think a few points got reducted. I don't know about Yemmy, but
I mean, I don't feel that way, really. Like I said, the only thing that really detracts from the movie is like those unnecessary jump scares. I thought that it still had a pretty good plot to it, and I felt like it still had a really great atmosphere to it as well. The acting was phenomenal too from all parties.
Yeah.
So that really helps with like the tone of the movie, and it doesn't like shift around a bunch, because even when you have the funny guy who's a TSA agent come in, he doesn't like detract from the movie. He feels like he's a part of it, you know? Unlike other movies where it's like, oh, here's the goofy, witty character who just barges in. This one doesn't feel that way to me.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Like, I think everything, like I said, it was really good. The acting was spot on. The atmosphere was great. Like, for me, just like suspenseful wise, the suspense wasn't fully there just because, like I said, there was a lot of stuff I'm like, well, I think I know where this is going. Oh, yep, I was right. That's where this was going, kind of thing. But like I said, there was probably that there were some twists and turns in there that I didn't see coming. And I was like, oh, okay, I was mostly right, but not completely right, which definitely helped.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, I think having watched the movie before, like I picked up on a lot of things that I didn't pick up originally in the movie theater when we originally were watching it.
Yeah.
Also, I'm pretty sure we came to the movie a little bit late because I don't remember that beginning scene where the one guy gets strangled from behind and dragged into a car, and that's actually pretty important because you're not supposed to recognize that character later on, being the dressed up kind of guy with the old lady. Because he doesn't have his beard anymore. He definitely looks a little bit different, looks a little paler, and I thought that was a great little thing to put in there. Going, oh wait, is that the guy from the beginning? And then they confirm, oh, it is the guy from the beginning.
Yeah, I didn't know it was the guy from the beginning until they said. I assumed that the guy from the beginning was just dead at first. I was just, oh well, yeah. And then when I mean, I guess we gotta get into the spoiler territory here. When the brother was introduced, I went, yeah, he's the guy from the beginning. I can tell.
Yeah, they didn't make it super obvious, like having him drive in the white car or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
they purposely made it so that everyone was in the backyard, so you didn't see him drive up.
Yeah.
But
I think I would have thought the same thing if we had seen that scene originally too.
Yeah.
Yeah, going off of you, Yummy, where you said like things weren't as obvious like the first time scene. One thing I picked up on was like when everybody came, to AKA like auction off, the guy, is all the hint signs and like, all the hints that they were giving like about the, interracial, like the pretty much being racist. And like I picked that up. Like I was like, wow, that is really like dark right there. And like all the like just all the questions that they were asking him throughout the movie, I was like, okay, I didn't pick that up, the first time. So yeah, I 100% agree with you with that.
Just like how the synopsis says it, like you think that it's just like them, it's like this entire white family trying to, fit in with the African American man in the room, but hearing what they say, knowing what they're gonna do later, it's like, okay, so this guy's talking about his golf swing and how he can't do it anymore, and this guy is talking about how he wants to be hip, and he's like, well, black is in, and it's like, oh wow, that's actually really smart writing, Yeah,
that's my point exactly. It's like those things I'm picking up on now, like seeing the second time, I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah, like they came off like, for me, first time, like I didn't know, like that was one of the things that did surprise me. I didn't see coming. So like when they were all talking, I was like, okay, yeah, these guys are all just racist. But yeah, it becomes obvious, like, oh, they're talking because they want his body.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big spoiler, guys. There, if you didn't watch the movie,
Sex
I don't know
slaves.
why you're listening. Yep. Sex slaves. But yeah, they're just so that was the big surprise. I thought they were just hypnotizing him and using them as slaves or sex slaves, like the TSA guy thought. I was like, okay, yeah, that's what I thought was going on. And then, like I said, I did not expect the brain swap thing going on. And
yeah, it was a really good twist. Because you don't really see it coming. I don't think you do. Only because it seems like it's just hypnosis, because Chris gets hypnotized, he does the flash thing, and the other guy breaks out of like a quote unquote hypnotism type state. But yeah, the brain swap thing was it's a little bit cooler, I guess, than just doing the basic hypnotizing. And I love the look of that like sunken place. How it's like I think it's crafted really well to tell you kind of like how Chris is trapped in that place, just kind of watching a TV screen of his life going by if he was actually trapped in his body. It was a really cool visual.
Yeah. I agree. No, like I said, that was the biggest surprise for me was, the whole, no, we're putting our brains in your body. I was like, oh, okay. And then the fact... Oh, go ahead.
Well, you don't really, realize that until the blind guy was at the end was I want your eyes, I want your vision.
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh, okay, that's a wake up call.
Yeah. No, when I saw him all in the hospital robe and the shaved head, for a second I was like, oh, he's dying? Is he dying? Is he gonna take the body? It wasn't totally clear at first, and then as they talked, it was like, okay, yep, that is what they're doing.
It is interesting to note, too, that the blind guy who runs the art gallery was the guy that Chris connected with, the only person Chris connected with at the big party. So I don't know if it's irony or whatever, but it is kind of funny how he ends up winning it, and then, he has to calmly explain what's about to happen to him.
Well, the fact that he did win, I mean, that's not super surprising. The way they talk and stuff, you go, okay, yeah, he definitely appreciates this guy, and so he's willing to pay as much money as he get to become this guy.
Right. And I also wonder, because they brought up the point in that same scene where he's like, well, why does it have to be, black people? And he's like, I don't know. I just want your eyes. And I guess it does bring up a good point, Maybe it's because these people have, at least the people that they have in the movie have had, maybe troubled upbringings or something like that, something that the hypnosis can lock onto, which is what I was thinking. Because Chris has, the car accident thing with his mom. That's the only kind of, thing that we get out of, the hypnotism thing. It seems like she's tapping into some sort of trauma. Yeah. So it's hard to say if they would ever, switch races. I would think that they would, Yeah.
Maybe maybe it's easier to find trauma from black people because they have a lot of trauma.
Yeah, it's awkward but true,
Yeah.
Lots of bad things happen. I mean, to everyone in the world, but obviously there's.
But your odds, I think, are higher.
Right.
With a black person versus a white person, especially a rich white person. No hardship there.
But I do think that that's why they get chosen more so, is because the hypnosis thing has to latch on to a trauma. And, they could just get a random guy off the street because, they don't know. But, obviously that girl does a lot of research on these people, and Rose, I think is her name.
Yeah.
And,
that was the other twist that, because at first I'm just like, okay, she doesn't know what her parents are doing. And then when she started saying she couldn't find her keys, I was like, oh no. Yeah, she's in on it too.
Yeah, but how dumb is it of her to keep those photos inside a box, inside of a little closet it was open the entire movie. He could have waltzed in there any time.
Yeah.
I guess the way I thought is that one of the other, either I guess the grandma or grandpa, one of them kind of was able to break free enough that they actually put it there. That's what I was thinking. Try to give them a warning.
But she had them hanging on her wall behind her bed after it all was over. I don't know if you saw that. So I mean, obviously,
I did.
Maybe they left the door open, but she obviously left the pictures in there.
Yeah.
Which is a dumb move, but
that is a dumb move.
Would it have helped the situation? No, because he still gets captured after hoping that she'll give him the keys. But I guess at least he knew what was coming. At least.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think she would have kept it like in the basement where they do the surgery and stuff, but
And she can't put them on her wall afterwards.
Yeah. What do you guys think about like I don't know the best way to put it, but like the other like hypnotized people in the movie? Like, what do you guys think they're like? You think they did a good job, or were they just kind of like just random?
I thought they did a good job. They definitely come off as something is wrong with them, but you're not 100% sure what yet. And then, like I said, then you kind of think, okay, they're being hypnotized. And then you don't realize, like I said, then you turn out, oh, they're the grandparents. They have stolen these bodies.
Yeah, obviously, with how the performance is, you're meant to think that they are just hypnotized, but deep down, there's still struggles with putting your brain in someone else's head. Obviously, they still have like, they have trouble maybe talking or acting quote unquote normal. I mean, especially around someone who is the race of the person that they are embodying. That could be totally awkward. Yeah. And you also have to remember that these people are also, let's say that the grandpa died when he was 90 and the grandma died when she was 100. These people are 100 plus whatever. So, they obviously aren't going to connect with him. First off, just from an age standpoint,
Yeah. I almost wondered if, so you see the grandpa at one point running towards him and then run away, like, apologize later for exercising. But I almost wonder if it was, the original host kind of breaking through and was trying to run up to warn him, and then grandpa gained control at the last second and, went the other way.
Yeah, and the same thing, I know it's a little bit more on the nose, but when the guy gets unhypnotized during the party and he says, "Get out," you're thinking it's because he's angry that he took a picture of him when you originally watch it. But then you realize that it was actually the guy, like, saying, like, "Hey, you should get out," you should leave.
Yeah. Like, help yourself, like, don't do it.
No, that's how I took it. When he first got the picture and, like, he started acting the weird, I was like, okay, that broke the hypnotism for a little... Again, I still thought they were just hypnotized at that point. And I was like, okay, that broke the hypnotism. So he's trying to warn him, get out.
Yeah, and I don't think that there's enough left of the person inside of the body, the original person inside the body to, like, fully articulate thoughts and stuff like that. Even towards the end when the big guy gets unhypnotized by the Flash, I mean, he's still, he has, like, that moment of, like, oh, this is my chance, I better take it now, to do something.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, my headphones got ripped out by a cat. You're talking about the guy at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the reason I think that's the reason he shoots himself is because he realizes I'm not going to have control of this for very long. Let's end this guy right now.
Right. There is a bit of a something that I was thinking about. Obviously, the flash on the phone wouldn't be that bright in daylight, and he wasn't very close to him either. And so if this hypnotism can be broken by a flash of light, I mean, do these people live in areas with thunderstorms? I mean, are there,
or
flashing...
just turning on a light?
Yeah, turning on and off a light really fast. I mean, what's the basis for that, Is it only a cell phone flash? It can't be.
Just from an LED, it lets off a super specific light wave that messes with the hypnotism.
Like I can pseudo ignore that, I don't. It's like not something like super, but it is something that I like. You kind of think about after facts, like, that really wouldn't have been that bright. Like I understand at night when he does it at night, like that's a pretty bright flash for a nighttime scene.
Yeah.
But during the day, they're not even indoors. They're outside with direct sunlight, and he's pretty far away. I don't know. Maybe they could have positioned Chris at a better spot, or maybe he could have been using like his big camera to do it instead. That would have made it a little bit more believable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that scene that you're talking about was like a director's like way out kind of thing, like because you would also like think that Dean and what's the wife's name, Missy, something like that, would have like confiscated the phone right away. Like, why didn't they take the phone? Or because then they kept toying with his phone, unplugging it, plugging it back in, that and this. But you think like after that, like seeing and you can see that Chris was like like, oh, I messed up, like I made this guy crazy for some whatever random reason. Like you think that would have made him or break him. Like, okay, I got to get out. Like that would have been my breaking point, which we'll get onto later. But it's just like, it's just I don't want to say lazy directing, but it was just like kind of like this is how it's gonna be because I said so kind of directing.
You have to remember that Chris is still in love with his girlfriend at the time, and he was willing to stick out through the entire party for her, and then that happens. I think that he was still kind of infatuated with Rose at that point, because he even when they walk away, he's pouring his heart out to her. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to leave her alone, which is why he gives her the ultimatum of come with me, or I'm just gonna go by myself.
Yeah. Which, like I said, that was the walk was right after where they had all that conversation,
and then bingo gets played.
Yeah, and then bingo's played, and then he's like captured that night. So. And they did take the phone away after that, so he got it back by finding it on the table.
Right. Talking about that scene on you talking about the phone on the table, and Rose was talking to his best friend, the TSA agent. I think she kind of fucked that up pretty hardcore. Yeah. Like she was doing a pretty good job of the actress did a really good job. Like her facial expression and what she sounded like were two totally different things, and that was so well done. And like for some reason, I don't know why they wrote it like that, where she like all of a sudden just says like, "You just want to fuck me." It's like, well, he's talking about Chris being gone, and you're just gonna try and manipulate him this way. She really screwed up that way. Maybe she just thought, he'll never come around anyway. But I don't know why she would decide to do that at that moment.
Yeah, that was a little weird because, like I said, she did an amazing job because it is so hard to sound like you're emoting when your face is not emoting. Like I don't know if you've ever tried that, but like it's difficult. And she did an amazing job. And then that was just it was weird. Well, like because I know like they always joked about how like, oh yeah, I'm just trying to get to you through Chris kind of thing, but that was way over the top where it's like, hey, I'm worried about my buddy Chris. Oh, but you just want to fuck me. It's like, what?
Yeah, maybe she realized that he. Well, then again, he muted himself during that whole thing where he was like, "This bitch is lying." Like that's still a funny scene. I love that scene.
Mm-hmm.
So it maybe she just kind of was like, "Well, I'm gonna give it a shot, and whatever happens, happens," and maybe he'll just, I don't know, just get lost in the bureaucratic nature of the police,
Yeah. Although it would be like, so say she did, he went, oh, you know what? Yeah, I do. And like started going out with her and they did the exact same thing to him that they did to Chris. That means they would have a party and Chris would show up and he'd be like, hey, it's my buddy Chris who went missing. Oh, right. Like,
well, they've obviously done more of these than the movie shows. I don't know why. Maybe the woman and the guy who won the last person were closer to the family than the other people before that. But I don't know why they would have them come around, especially so freshly after, like, because obviously it's been 6 months, but still that's a relatively short time for brain surgery.
Yeah. Well, and especially, I mean, I guess unless she wanted a man's body, maybe she's, like, I'm done with the lady stuff. Let me get that man body in there.
Maybe, who knows?
I went through menopause once. I don't want to do that again.
Now that Yemmy brought up the police scene, do you guys think that was a little like just like an outlier scene, or do you guys think that like they tried too hard to like connect the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie? Because the scene in the beginning is the cop is like hating on the guy for no reason, and then the end scene the cop car pulls up and he's probably thinking, oh shoot, is Cops are gonna hate me, gonna kill me. You guys think that was like unneeded? Like that to me, that scene just kind of seemed unneeded in the beginning.
Oh, it's a good fake out because even in the theater, you're thinking, "Oh, that's the cop from earlier. He's gonna get
Yeah.
like shot or something," and then it turns out to
Hmm.
be his friend. I
Yeah.
thought it was a good twist. I not really like a twist, but it's a good
Fake out.
yeah, fake out.
Because
Yeah.
we can talk about the alternate ending now, which we saw at the end of the movie. If you didn't, sorry. That is the end of the movie. Is the cops show up, arrest him, he goes to jail, and that's exactly how I thought it was going to turn out. I was like, "There's no way this ends good for him," and then it did, and I was like, "Huh, okay." I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the ending of the movie. The alternate ending definitely makes you think a little bit more, but sometimes you like a little bit more of a happier ending. I guess. I mean, Chris
Yeah.
will still have trauma through the rest of his life, but I guess even in the director's commentary for the ending scene, like he still mentioned like, he gets over the trauma of his past by going back to help Georgina, unlike with his mother where he just ignored it and eventually the trauma that's the big thing, and I think that it still comes
Yeah.
across in the regular ending. Even though it makes a little bit more sense in the terms of the alternate ending, it's still the normal ending is I think is better.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, he said it best. Like, when by the time they actually were filming the movie and stuff coming out, he's like, "Nah, we're in a time of our life where we need a happy ending. So I'm going to give you a happy ending,"
Right.
which I appreciated. But yeah, I was going to say something, but I forgot it. So, but yeah, I was happy with, having a happy ending. It was kind of nice. Although I really I don't know how it's going to remain happy for him. I feel like it's still going to be a suspect and end up going through all of that. The judicial, or I told you my brain's not working. The system, the law system.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
we can always just think that he just got away and they didn't no one even noticed.
I'd like to think that they assumed that when they're gonna find this scene, they're gonna assume that it was the grandpa character, their gardener, and went, oh, he just finally went crazy, burned the house, killed everyone, burned the house down, and then killed himself. I'd like to think that's how it was gonna go.
And it's not. I mean, the other people from I would call them a cult.
Yeah.
They're not. They're probably all going into hiding, so it'd be impossible
Oh
to
yeah.
find them, track them down.
Yeah, no, they won't stop and like, no, that's not right. That was really our old friend who had traded. Oh, I shouldn't have told you that.
Yeah. Yeah, they can't be
I
like,
want
well, we swapped brains, officer, and
Yeah, it makes you wonder, like, and this might be in the sequel, like, what happens to, I mean, that the lady, she's still alive, right? Like, some reason I'm drawing a blank. The
which
The
grandpa's
mom?
dead,
no, they all
or
died.
Yeah, they all died.
yeah, they all dead. Okay, and then, but what about the other? Like, I guess
Georgina,
there's only one. There's only one that the guy that got flashed. Like, what
he
makes you wonder? Like, are they gonna like continue? Are they done? Are they just gonna move on with their life?
Yeah, they'll probably go into hiding because they can't tell anybody. I mean, they might try to go find another racist
doctor.
psychiatrist and doctor
Yeah.
pair.
Hypnotizers.
Yeah, I don't think this movie really needs a sequel. I mean,
Is it
obviously
getting
it's
one?
the corporate world, so I wouldn't
Yeah.
I wouldn't
I
be
wouldn't be surprised if there
surprised.
was
Yeah.
one though. Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know how
you
do
think
a
of the movie
sequel.
Us, which is by the same guy.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna go back to Get Out. I don't think there's gonna be a sequel. But if there was, I wouldn't be surprised. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Obviously, this
He's
was
also
a huge breakout hit. It won an Oscar. I think this movie is pretty much universally like either loved or people are like, yeah, it was good.
mm. And he's too busy with the stand-up comedies now. So
No, I mean,
He was doing the stand-up comedies long before.
yeah, he did. I mean, the whole TV show. I think he's going more towards the movie director now because Get Out was a hit. Us was critically pretty successful.
And then he's been doing the Twilight Zone series on, I guess, Paramount Plus now, but it was on CBS All Access. No, he's doing all right for himself.
Yeah.
I haven't seen those movies, so.
Yeah, I haven't seen. This was the first movie that I'd seen from him, so
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
didn't-
seen.
I didn't see
I
those
haven't
either.
watched. I didn't have CBS All Access, so I never watched Twilight Zone. Although I did like the original, so you know. But
All right, and last comment I have about this movie, the brother. Like, I feel like, and maybe it's just like me seeing it the second time might have a little factor into it, but I felt like he was into his role a little too much, if that makes sense.
nope, I'd say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I felt like the other, like, family was just like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, and then the brother was like, oh, I'm the crazy one, like, oh, notice me, kind of like mentality. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Well, he definitely played the part well, but like while they were all subtle about that, what they're hinting at and stuff, he definitely came off as like, especially now knowing how it ends, like he comes off like talking about like how he would like the one guy could be, or how Chris could be a good MMA fighter and stuff, and he would love to like it's very obvious he's like, I would like to take this body as well and give it to myself because it's better than mine.
Yeah, he was a very exaggerated. But I mean, you gotta think of like, cause he has, like, you gotta think of the character himself. He has so many expectations pushed on him. He's trying to learn what his father does. Essentially, they kind of in a one-off comment say like, yeah, he's in medical school, following his father's footsteps.
Yeah.
So we think that they're trying to get him to do the same thing as his dad, and
oh yeah,
whether he
sure.
wants to or not is not in question. It's just like the pressure of like, he obviously in wherever he goes to school, I mean, he's getting like wasted or whatever every night, and he's turned to drinking because of the pressure that's on him to learn these things and follow his father's footsteps so that he can eventually perform, I'm guessing, the surgery on his dad himself.
Yeah. Oh, I'm guessing. Yeah, he wants to be able to keep the legacy alive, kind of thing. So I'm glad. I really did enjoy the scene where he finally breaks free. He used the cotton to plug up his ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just
Actually, now that you
murders
mention
everybody.
Yeah, the ending of the
Yeah,
movie was like awesome. He just kind of he kind of goes in the badass mode. The one thing to me, I don't know if this is going to derail Nick's comment, but I feel like he should have left the cotton balls at least on him, just in case.
I thought that
Yeah.
too.
How do you
'Cause I
guys
think-
think he got that into his ears? Because if his hands were tied up,
He's just
like,
bent
Well,
down.
it showed that he could put his head down there because he tried to bite the things off.
okay.
Yeah.
Because I had that same question for a split second, then I remembered, oh yeah, he tried to bite him off, which you actually could see other teeth marks, so he wasn't the first who tried to bite him off. So it's like, okay, yeah, that's how you would get him. Like I said, I wish he had kept them, and then when he runs into the mom later, she could, instead of trying to smack it away, she would try it thinking it worked, and then he's just like, it didn't work.
Well, then you're running into the risk of, tea, hitting against a teacup is louder than a TV, kind of thing.
Oh.
Maybe.
He did the right thing by destroying.
Oh,
the
he
TV.
did.
Well, yeah. Yeah, when that scene comes around, I think everyone thought like, uh-oh, this is it. This is where it ends. But nope, he keeps going,
Yeah.
And when that teacups get destroyed, the whole crowd cheers and
Yeah, everyone's in the stands, just cheering, clapping.
And then everyone clapped.
yeah. But yeah, the whole ending like sequence, it like because for the most part the entire movie's like a slow burn, right? Everything's kind of building, the mystery's kind of unraveling a little bit, the thrill is starting to come up, and then the other movie's just like pow right in the face. Everything just is starting to happen like real quick.
Yeah.
Characters are dying off in seconds. I really like that. Yeah, I
did too.
I think it's the best. I thought that was the best way to end the movie is like have like this explosive ending.
I felt like the brother second wind was a little extra, but it could happen.
Yeah.
You never know.
Could, although the way he hit in the head so hard, like
Twice.
Yeah, I mean, Chris
Twice.
did kind of beat him.
yeah, like he was bleeding.
To see him
out,
again,
the
you're like,
mouth.
what? Yeah. To see him again, you're like, okay.
But
I mean, if that was like Rose, I mean, maybe that would have been a little more intense. Rose is, she's upstairs, and then she jumps on him as he's trying to leave. But who knows?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the point was so technically that's the first hint we get that he's the knight, the White Knight, because he was doing the sleeper hold on Chris that he did on what's his face at the very beginning of the movie, and then we see him escape and he takes his car, and then you go, oh, yep, it's him.
Yeah.
And then just to drive it home, they went, oh, here's the helmet.
All right. Any other comments about Get Out?
I just want to say, I think that the cinematography is pretty good in the movie. Lots of really interesting shots, and I already mentioned the sunken place, but that's also a really cool, well shot kind of moment. And also like the use of like the different colors in the movie, like especially inside the house. I don't know if they meant to have like meaning to it, but it kind of had like a completely different vibe from the rest, like other areas in the house. Like the one room was mostly blue, the other room was more of like plain colors. You go outside, it's all greens. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
I did not. And I know Coco wanted us to talk about the music, how he liked it.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I liked the music, especially like the very beginning when it first started, and it was just the trees going by, and I was like, yeah.
like
That's the only song that I remember is in it. Like I don't recall any other
tribal music.
Yeah, I'll say there was that song, and then it played again at the end. So.
Yeah, I didn't really notice the music per se, but you could. I mean, I remember it being there. I just don't remember like something specific popping out besides from that opening song.
Yeah. But that opening song was sure good.
Yeah. Maybe Coco has more insight as to why he thinks it's so perfect for the movie, but he can just he can talk about that next episode.
Sweet. Yeah. One thing I would have liked, and this is kind of now that I've seen it a second time, is like maybe a few hints that there was like a whole basement, like they had a whole operation going in the basement. Because everything was focused like first floor and then second floor. So.
Oh, he did. He said the basement's locked up because they had black mold, so that's why they never went down there.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
Yeah, from that scene, you kind of know something's up with the basement. It's like a horror movie trope,
that's true,
you know.
That's true.
Yeah,
but then again, it's like just listening to dialogue, and some people, aka me, might not pick that up.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they could have had a scene where he tried the door, basement door, and it was locked, and just kind of went, huh.
Well, the scene that I'm thinking of right now is when he wakes up in the middle of the night, right before he gets hypnotized, and like he's checking out, everything, and then that girl, randomly passes behind him, and like, maybe he sees the door and checks it out.
Well, at that point, he was just looking for a place to smoke.
That's also true.
He wasn't super suspicious at that point.
Yeah, he was just kind of like kind of like, oh, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Urban rich white people. They're so weird.
All right. Any other comments?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else specifically to say. So if you want to start us off with our final thoughts and review, go ahead.
Okay, so my final thoughts of Get Out. I second time seeing it, saw it in theaters with Yemmy, and I was so high about this movie, seeing it in theaters, like I was like, oh, that was so suspenseful, like it was awesome. Second time seeing it, there's still that love for it, there's still that scenes that I forgot about and I'm still shocked about, and I think that's really good. That like maybe it's just because I saw it in 2017 and it's been a while. But the acting was really good. The scenes, some scenes, yeah, they could have been knocked out, but I can see why they added it. And talking to you guys, like, I was like, oh, what about this? And then you guys brought up good points. So, with that being said, I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
Cool. I pretty much agree with everything you said. All I gotta say is take out those unnecessary jump scares and maybe patch up some of the slight plot holes in there, and you got a pretty perfect thriller horror movie there. Still very enjoyable. You kind of go into it expecting like the comedy portions to be kind of taking you out of the movie, and it doesn't. And I really like that about it. It actually brings a little bit of lightness to, the tone of the movie. Acting great, cinematography great. Like I said, just take out those jump scares, and I think you got a really, really well done movie. And I'm going to give this one a 4.5 out of 5.
All right. I agree with everything you said, Yemmy. Pretty much like exactly. I'm also giving a 4.5.
And Coco isn't here right now, but he gave me some final thoughts on it. And obviously he'll flesh out maybe some things next week, in 2 weeks. But he said his thoughts are, it's a great movie. He loved the first song and it really fit the scene. The movie had some great scares, sometimes especially the bingo scene. That was pretty creepy. The CGI was good. Didn't really see anything that stood out. All in all, he'll give it a 5 out of 5. Speaking of CGI, I don't remember. I think the fire on the candlestick, or like the fire that was engulfing the house as soon as the dad died, was CG. And yeah, it kind of stood out as being bad in my opinion, but it was like such a short little thing. It's like, I don't know.
It's not noticeable.
I don't know if I would commend the movie for CGI, because I don't think there's like any.
I don't think there was any.
Maybe like the haziness of the eyes.
Maybe the deer scene, but
yeah, that was probably all practical. Like the only CGI I can think of is when they're in the sunken place or whatever.
Yeah. Well, even that.
And that wasn't even CGI. That was just like a green screen effect.
Yeah, he was on like a rope, like on the ropes, wires, and maybe they even had him in like a dark room with the light effects going on too. The only thing that was maybe CG was obviously was the TV, or the little sparkles in there.
Yeah, even then I don't think so, but.
So yeah,
his opinion is So you say unnecessary jump scares. Like, what's one scene that you would take out? Like, you get to edit the movie. What's the first scene that you're taking out?
You don't have to take it out, but you don't have to have the soundtrack do like a big boom when the lady walks in the background.
Yeah,
that's what I would take out. That, or even when the deer hits the car, like that's fine because there's something actually happening and it kind of sets the story off. I wouldn't take that out per se. It's an important scene and it's important for the rest of the plot.
That scene did all. Yeah, that scene, the deer scene also was supposed to kind of represent, what happened with his mom.
Right.
I think about it, but yeah, and hitting a deer or having a deer hit your car is very surprising. Right. I can attest that.
Yeah. Yeah, hitting anything really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
also the car was like not destroyed either.
Well,
the headlight was
the deer
gone.
tried to jump. Yeah, it tried to jump the car, which sometimes they do. Like the one time I had a run with the deer, like I didn't hit the deer hit me. It ran in and smacked the side of my car. Luckily, it was a baby deer, so there was no damage to the car, and it was in a residential area, so it wasn't going too fast. So it, bolted away and was fine. But it was very, very startling.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the headlight was broken. They don't zoom in on it or anything, but it was all covered in blood. With the headlight was broken, and then obviously
probably how
the mirror came
off. The deer got cut probably because it lacerated itself on the headlight glass.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
All right, Tay, go ahead and announce your movie.
Yeah, what you got for us?
All right. So I thought my movie came out much later, but apparently didn't. It is a movie from 2014, directed by Doug Liman, and it's The Edge of Tomorrow. It's written by Christopher McQuarrie, Jez Butterworth, and John Henry Butterworth.
Oh, this is the movie with two names, isn't it? Because there's also Live, Die, Repeat.
Yeah, Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow. I think that Live, Die, Repeat was the catchphrase.
I think it went through a few name changes, and they kept that as a catchphrase, I think.
Gotcha. It may have, yeah. It stars Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt, and Bill Paxton. I believe it's actually based on a manga.
Yes.
So, I've never seen it. I've kind of wanted to see it for a long time. Apparently longer than I thought, because I thought it came out in 2017-ish, around that area. So, yeah, I'm interested to see it. I don't know if it's any good. I hear it's kind of got mixed reviews. Some people love it, other people I don't think care for it. So, It can be found. I have no idea.
Well, go ahead and go through the synopsis. I cut you off there.
Oh yeah, sorry. A soldier fighting aliens gets to relive the same day over and over again. The day restarting every time he dies. So it's kind of Groundhog Day, but for war.
Yeah. You can find it on Amazon, iTunes, Google, Vudu, Blu-ray, DVD, all those places. So
Cool.
pretty much all the normal ones.
Yeah. Oh, it's on Prime as well. So, or just Amazon, rent or buy.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with Tom Cruise, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm a pretty. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a big fan of this movie, but I've watched it a couple times now, and it's fun.
I don't think I've ever seen it. So
yeah, like I said, I've heard decent things about it. I've been interested in seeing it for a long time now, and I've never gotten around to it. So.
All right. Well, if you, the listener, don't want to be spoiled for Edge of Tomorrow from 2014, make sure you watch that before the next episode goes live in 2 weeks. And then also don't forget that the fan vote is also attached to the next episode as well. So in the promotion material on my Twitter account, attached to the video itself, attached to the tweet that's promoting it, there will be a poll that you can vote on for the next 4 movies for the fan vote, which is after Coco's movie recommendation. So make sure that you keep eyes open for that. And we'll come back in about 2 weeks and talk about Edge of Tomorrow.
perfect. Has aliens in it. 4th of July coming. Perfect. Yeah, there you go.
Anyone else have anything they want to say before we end the show?
Get out.
Yeah, get out.
Yep.
Get out. Leave.
All right. Well, I am Yemmy the Ferret, and I've been here with...
Radio Waffle.
Animation.
And in spirit, Coco Gamer, and we are Film Freaks with a Z. Thanks for listening. Now get out!
Get out.
Oh,
Leave. Do it.